gunpla. What exactly is it? Well, that's exactly what it says right here on the side of this box, and what it says is, gunpla are plastic model kits which, except for parts such as polycaps, were made from recycled materials such as plastics which were produced during the manufacturing process of gunpla, and materials such as runners collected from users. In Japan, you're actually able to get your leftover runners, which are these big old piles of bits, and pop them into these kind of little letterbox style dealy majiggers, and that means they get recycled into brand new Gundam kits that are predominantly in black plastic. Now, I think this is an absolutely fantastic idea. Like, one of the issues I have with with all the reviews that I do is I have a mountain of plastic building up. It's ridiculous how much waste there is when it comes to gunpla. So the fact that you're actually able to recycle it into new kits that look absolutely ridiculous, and these are released all the time. They've got this kind of predominantly black look with some kind of really hyper neon color to go with them, but the fact that you can actually do that is pretty cool. I wish Bandai would roll this out a little bit more internationally, but of course, Japan is the home market, the biggest market, so it makes sense to do it there. Anyway, let's get this busted open. I've never tried one of these before. I've got this one knocking around too. I really need to get around to, but let's try this one today. This, of course, is the high-grade Gundam Lfrith. So jumping right on into the aesthetics, and there's one thing I'm going to say to preface everything here, and that is pictures do not do this kit justice. Now, I've seen these time and time again here and there, and I just never thought they looked that great. I thought the super strong neon color versus the black just kind of washed everything out. Kind of like they were a little bit of a knockoff of 4 Reiner. In case you don't know who 4 Reiner is, he's a custom gunpla builder that has a very specific style, which is exactly what this is. One super neon strong color on black. Obviously, because those are painted, there's a very nice finish to them, and I thought these kits just kind of wouldn't really work out. They always looked a little bit dead, but that is not the case. This looks incredible. Now, I'm not sure how this is going to turn up in the video. I'll try different lighting and everything to try and make it, you know, give it the justice that it deserves. But this did turn out astonishingly perfect. Now, this is what it looks like out of the box, but I did do one thing. The eyes on this were black, which I thought was an odd choice by Bandai. They kept everything black and pink. I mean, everything. There is no third color in here at all. So I guess that's what they were going for, but I felt like the eyes looked so dead, so I had to do something. The eyes bring a gunpla to life, and they were just, you know, I had to do something. This is them black, and what I did was I just grabbed this Gundam marker in Gundam Meta Blue. It's not a Gundam marker EX, it's just a standard Gundam Meta Blue, and that is, of course, the metallic blue. I pop that onto the eyes, and then you get this. It's just to have a nice kind of contrast against the pink on here, while still maintaining what they're meant to look like. They're meant to look a little bit cyber, kind of neon, and nothing cybers with pink quite as well as that vaporwave blue, so that's why I added just to kind of bring it a little bit more to life, but otherwise this is what it looks like out of the box, and it does look incredible. So I'm now starting to see why pretty much every picture there is out there does not do this justice. It's so hard to actually film. The pink is so bright, and as far as I can tell, it looks like it might be UV reactive, and the actual black is as black can be. It is a little bit semi-gloss, not fully gloss, but it is semi-gloss. But yeah, most of the time, most of the detail is lost in there. So it does mean it's kind of hard to see. I will mention though, in person, it is astounding looking, but yeah, this doesn't seem to film well at all. For example, popping it side by side with the standard version, you can really see just how much more all the detail on it pops in comparison. It's cool to see a kind of dark and light version of the exact same model kit. I have to admit, I am very impressed though by this. Again, in the video, not looking fantastic. You're not seeing all the kind of detail that you'd see on this guy right here. And one thing that is a little bit on the shocking side is we do not get one of these pre-molded little segments in the chest of this particular variant. You actually only have the sticker style chest in this one. However, that does mean it's a little bit more subtle, because from most angles you can't even tell that this has that kind of nice permit in it. You really have to direct it to, well, all the way to the light. Whereas this one is always popping all of the time, looking fantastic. So I guess it kind of makes sense, considering this one is the dark mode of sorts. But speaking of that sort of thing, these are the stickers that are included in here. You have the option of just the plain black chest without the permit. All of these green stickers for the head cameras, all of those aren't used in this particular kit because this one does come with its own stickers. Now these are stickers, not foil. So as you can see, there is no foil. Ignore that one. That one got stuck on there by accident because I went and tried it out. Instead, we got these little pink circles instead for inside of the chest. All they do is kind of black out those little holes in there so they're not as shiny as once again we would have seen, but subtlety, or I don't know if you'd call it subtlety, dark and pink is this thing's aesthetic. Besides that though, we do have a couple of unique little decals for on it, so let's try those out. So when it comes to the decals in here, we've got 3. The first one goes up on the right hand shoulder. Now that's a whole bunch of little elements, so you put on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little pieces and try to line them up best you can so it looks like a full circle from a distance. Definitely difficult. Next up, we've got a small one that attaches onto the knee, that attaches on super simply. It's just a normal sticker. And then we've got one for on the shield, which attaches on once again very normally. But don't leave the other sticker attached onto it that I've left onto it, so I need to take that off. And this right here is what we get. So there's one up on the shoulder. There is the one on the knee, and then we've one on the shield, which adds a nice little element to it, especially on the shield, which was quite plain in mainly just black. So not bad. So anyway, that right there is the full spin, and what can I say? I love building these Witch from Mercury kits. I've built a lot of kits since they kind of stopped, of different types, you know, high grades, master grades, etc. There's just something about high grade Witch from Mercury kits. So much payoff for so little plastic and so little time, and you get such an amazing kit every time. They feel great, and they are so fun to build, ecopla or not. This right here is one eye-catching kit without a doubt. Like I said, the video will never ever do this justice. I recommend giving one a try. Now that I've built one, I kind of want more. They're going to look so good together. There's a lot of them out there. A couple of master grades, a couple of high grades, and I kind of wish I got on them a little bit sooner because they are absolutely phenomenal looking. Well, this one is. I can't really speak for the rest. So now jumping into the accessories, and here's everything we get inside the box, which is 100% identical to what you see inside of the standard box, because this right here is just a recolor. So we've got that rack for around back in the craziest pink ever. We've got the shield made of all those little tiny bit staves, the beam rifle as well as beam effect once again all in pink, and finally the beam sabers once again in pink. And as far as I can tell, but I'll check it out, these beams and that beam are UV reactive, but all in all, pretty much the same awesome accessories we saw before. Sadly, no hands, especially because you're never going to get hands in that shade of color. Anyway, and speaking of hands, when it does come to the hands in here, once again, everything is the same as what we would have seen before, just super glowing hot pink hands instead of the normal kind of gray ones. But otherwise exactly the same, and no alternate ones included. So next up, checking out the beam sabers. Now these definitely seem to fluoresce to some degree. If I turn down the light, you can see they're just kind of a pinky color, but when you turn it up, they do definitely throw out a bit of illumination. Again, I've said it time and time again, I really do need to get a black light to test this stuff out fully. It seems like the pink is UV reactive too, but I can't definitely be sure. Need to get that black light. As usual, attaching these into the hands is super simple. They just slide on in like so, and I'd totally forgotten about. But Gundam Lfrith here has the longest beam saber handles, which looks so damn awesome. So these are exactly the same as we would have seen before. Standard beam sabers, long handle, and getting into a pose is super simple because these kits are phenomenal. That is what they look like in the hands. These glow ever so nicely, and they're not your standard pink beam, without a doubt. So for storing these, we will need the backpack, so it's time to get that attached. And man, does this shade of pink blow out the lighting entirely. Anyway, there's the backpack, which is adding even more of this nuclear pink, and we just pop that on just like so. And then these can be stored up on the shoulders by removing the beams and just popping them onto these segments right here, which are fully articulated. So the next weapon we have in here is the beam rifle, and once again, because this is in that shade of pink, this looks absolutely ridiculous and very hard to film. So this is exactly the same as what we would have seen before. It attaches into the hand just by sliding it in, super simple, just like that. And also, just like we would have seen before, we do have an absolutely killer looking beam effect for using with this too. In order to use this, you just lift up the top, bring down the bottom, and then it just slides on in, and then it just slides on in just like so, and you can clamp that shut for that absolutely beam effect, which looks just like that. So next up in here, we've got that shield made out of bit staves. Once again, this is just a big old massive piece made of tons of little pieces. This looks great and catches the light in a nice kind of way. That's one thing about this kit, the glossy black does catch the light nicely, which makes me wonder whether or not I should hit this with a matte top coat. I felt like I should, but I'm starting to think maybe not. Inside of this, we do have some pink little joint parts, which you can kind of see through it every now and then, and adds a cool kind of little element inside of the shield. Attaching this on just involves popping it onto the side of the arm in that usual kind of way. This kit poses up ever so nicely and looks great in every pose with this shield. The Gundam Lfrith, the high grade, or the Lfrith, whatever you like to call it, is a phenomenal kit. That's some kind of weird mix of fantastic and phenomenal that I didn't mean to say. Everything about this is exactly the same as we would have seen in the standard version, so if you do want to see more about what this shield can do, you can check out that review. But just like we would have seen then, you can split this up into all of its various bit staves. They can attach on all over the unit, one onto the butt flap, two into the lower thrusters, two into the top sections here. One goes into the front of the rifle, one goes into the back of the rifle, and then you can mount the rifle onto the backpack just like so. So there is a serious amount of stuff you can actually do with this kit and those particular bit staves. Absolutely awesome. So yeah, there is going to be no articulation in this video right here because we saw everything before. This is exactly the same as we would have seen with the standard version of the high-grade Lfrith. So if you want to see all about the articulation on this kit, which is extremely nice, the build is fantastic, then check out the full review of that because I did a real in-depth look at it. So if there's anything you did not see in this video that you want to know, it's the same over there besides the color. So anyway, that right there is it for the review, and this is the Gundarium tier Gundam Lfrith, just with a brand new color scheme. Now, would I give this Gundarium tier or not in this set of colors? I'm not necessarily sure. It doesn't have the same level of impact. Bandai didn't really put the same amount of love and care into some aspects. We're lacking that pre-molded chest, and some decisions like the blacked out eyes and stuff like that really do kind of make the kit not as impressive as what we would have seen before. But from a bit of a distance, this has got some impact when it comes to the color scheme. This is one of my first times, actually it is my first time taking a look at one of these particular kinds of Echo Plan. I am very impressed and do want to see more. Anyway, if you do want one of your own, I got mine through BUYEE, link is down there in the description. As always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to come back for more Gunpla reviews, and I'll see you next time. As always, this video right here would not have been possible without each and every single one of you guys who watches my videos, and all of these awesome people right here who help out on the channel memberships and over on Patreon, including 10 Soldier YT, Abraxas, Caleb Engelhart, Dashel Marmion, Golel Rockstar, Joe, Lauren Seahack, or G95061, 10 Soldier YT again, and Van Fawn.